Hi guys, a super duper quick intro this time around. I'm preparing the material for the school. There are just few spots left for this first basically class that is starting on the 16th, the week of the 16th, so you still have time. You can contact me if you need to arrange some payment schedule. So my basically email and the website is below in the description. And also the next basically school term is going to be May the 15th, so maybe you kind of like want to target for the next kind of entry, which kind of could be better. So thank you so much for being here for me. I would highly appreciate if you like and subscribe and share. That means a lot to me. And also please follow me on Instagram and Facebook, because there I kind of have the tidbits about tarot. On Facebook you also have daily tarot, so that's something to look at. And lastly, join me for my live sessions. So for that you need to be a subscriber to be notified so you know when it is. And that's it. Talk to you next month. Love you. Hi Sagis, and welcome to your April-May, your bi-monthly Lenormand. So let's kind of like see what's going on in the process, but at the same time please keep in mind this is a general reading, so this might be kind of tidbits but if you guys like Lenormand, just write in your order when you go to get your reading, kind of like you would like partial Lenormand, and off we go. It's a really good tool when you want to kind of pinpoint who and where at the same time. So let's see what we have over here. Interestingly enough, there are two significators. Both are positioning nearby. So it could be a person that you're dealing with who, it's interesting, the bear is like that mother bear, a protection, but also it's danger at the same time, right? So, but it isn't a house of the mice. So somebody's protecting the money and somebody else is eroding the money. I think you guys are making decisions, whether you know it or not, that they might actually be something that is going to be a long-term reach. Kind of some of you, I think, are cutting off part of your money, which could be that child payments, you know, or something like that. This also tells me weight gain, because bears do that. So especially for those of you in Southern Hemisphere, for those of us in Northern, hey, maybe we are going to shed it, right? So keep in mind that bear also like it throws its weight around, and it's accustomed to getting what it wants. And they are easily envious, so that can also mean jealousy, and I absolutely see it here because it's kind of combined with the fox, and fox is in the bear house and the bear is in the mice house, and it's also knighting those mice. So let's see. So these two significators, you can kind of like each card in Lenormand, you can read as basically a chunk of this sort of like micro thing. So I don't know which one are you guys. Either of them can be you, because this is a general reading. I'm going to give you both things that I see. There is somebody who kind of like felt there was interference with your possible relationship, or did you have ended your relationship? There is like, look, the ending of the commitment, and it made you feel very, I guess, stabilized, if you wish. It's not what you thought it would be, kind of like, because this mice is here, because the money is no longer the way it was, but you actually don't mind having the situation the way it is. It kind of like went through phases. It kind of like went on and off and on and off. So as I'm saying, I kind of like did see possible involvement from somebody, right? So you see the lady is knighting the snake, and the snake is knighting the ship with the whip and the child. So it could be somebody from your past or somebody from your partner's past that kind of like put their fingers kind of like in the process. The moon is in the ship's house. So that means some kind of reputation. It was maybe somebody had a work affair. But when I see the child, that to me is like a Six of Cups. It could mean a new relationship for sure, kind of like crossroads. But it can certainly mean something that you're cherishing, something that maybe has been buried for such a long time. You know, it's like when we meet a person who reminds us of our first love, right? Or years later, we kind of like go through, what do you call it? Reunions and school reunions, and then you meet somebody you had a crush on, and then something develops. Something like that, because I can see this person almost guarding so many things and going through so many things, right? Now, it's kind of interesting that other than the fate, and the fate is in the house of the man. So I feel that either if you're a man, or the man in the situation was holding sort of like keys to what's going to happen and how. And there is like this kind of like reunion, but something that happened with that snake, which it looks like somebody was very happy, it kind of ended. So it could be that, you know, the wife found out, you know, hanky panky, it was like, oh, you're going to stop it or else, right? Or it could be that just kind of like finding something out was the reason to say, you know what, that's not going anywhere. Because look at here, there's the mountain, basically here. So let's talk about that. Now I'm actually feeling a few cards is in this kind of like interaction. So whether you're single or in a relationship, I mean, I'm going to give you kind of like both ways. Cards always can be interpreted many different ways. That's why you have different readers interpreting in different ways. And we all kind of like maybe have it through our lenses of the life that we experienced. So the lady here is in the house of the paths, right? So if you follow the paths over here, this is in the house of the stork. There is like somebody fiercely protective of their children, right? There's somebody fiercely protective of, you know, where you kind of like want to go. Somebody who's actually also wanting to get complete clarity, right? So the paths means it's the fork in the road. Where do we want to go, right? So one of the forks is going toward this man. And there is like this need to kind of like establish it, how to go about that. So the fact that the bear fell in the mice house, it tells me that somebody's winning, somebody's losing. But because it's in between the partners, it could be happening both ways. Now, the gentleman, and that could be some of you as well, whether you're ladies or gentlemen, is in a house of the heart. And now this is kind of like really interesting, because if you go back to where the house of the man is, and you can tell that I'm obsessive compulsive because I have to fix this, right? So This is the cross. This is the fate. Something has been happening in some of your lives that really had to happen. It had to work its way through. Maybe the soul contract is over, but Lenormand is not good, so like for spiritual messages. Lenormand is more or less, you know, down and dirty, like this is what's going on. So I really see, whether you are a guy or a woman, it actually doesn't matter. Some of you are really opening up. You see, this kite is actually a really sharp object, and it really, really cuts badly. And I don't like to see this card ever. But in this particular case, it's at the end. So I'm actually sort of like not seeing to be continued over here. And it's cutting something here. So we are not going to know until the next reading what basically was at play. But I'm telling you that there are like some circumstances over here that could be related to money, could be related to work, could be related to some kind of settlement. Because this is also the house of the honor. And the honor is always sort of very kind of like varies as per the culture, as per, you know, your own surroundings, your family, your company. The fox can also mean somebody who is just too smart for their own good, and, you know, kind of like something is coming to an end. But it does still look like, if you're single, that you might be meeting somebody you cannot like really put your finger on what to think about this person. But looks like you kind of like will be really interested in a person. You see, the heart is in the house of the clouds, which is in the same line. So it looks like if this is something new, that it's going to be, the best is being taken with caution, right? Because the clouds need to kind of like separate for you to see the stars, right? And so the stars is in the house of the sun. So this is kind of like really good combination. So I think it's going to be maybe communication issues. Maybe you guys might have money issues. The single ones, as I'm saying, be careful with the communication. Don't show too much of your hand. Kind of like slow steps, baby steps forward. Because looks like that some of you guys been through quite a bit, I do have to tell you. And almost like your psyche, for the some of you, have been kind of eroded, right? The others of you are really opening your heart. And I cannot really tell what's going to happen. Again, ... And here, the mountain, ... Mountain can mean, of course, challenges and troubles, and things usually do last for quite a while when I see the mountain. So with mountain, it's really hard to determine the timing. But mountain is kind of like also adversary, somebody who maybe either is physically present or not physically present, but it could be some kind of enemy, right? But it also could be a protective friend. So something getting in a way, kind of a thing. And it's, I believe, connected with communication. It's connected to something that has been already agreed. Because you and this person are meeting in this heart. I think love is there. This is kind of interesting. You might be also working or spending lots of time together. But there is something very unhealthy about established relationships over there, right? This also could be a person. It could be somebody who is kind of aging, or somebody who is, you know, who has white hair, or who is maybe balding. If you really want a description of the person, right? Mountain is not unsurmountable, right? Mountain is difficult to surpass. It can be cold, and snow is there, and you don't want to be caught like hermit in the middle of the night. But the mountain always says you need to kind of like really deal, you need to face yourself, because you need to kind of like really be focused. So I think both males and females in this time period will need creative focus. We need to kind of like really make sure that you're taking especially financial matters slowly and carefully. need to work on your communication. I don't think communication is going to be very problematic. And I really don't see that there are going to be issues for some of you. For the others of you, it's going to be something that you kind of like need to face inside. So sometimes it would be good to get your 2 cents on what you see here, if you see yourself. And again, it's general reading. And lastly, guys, I really appreciate if you subscribe, like, and share. Because if you subscribe, then you actually get notifications when I'm live, and we can chit chat with a coffee in the morning. And to get your private reading, contact me via cattarot.ca or visit my site also if you want to join my tarot school. Thank you, Sagis. Enjoy your month. Love you.